A girl named Lisa comes. This film begins. Lisa was looking so worried at that time. Moreover, she was also disturbed from her own life. So she is in lying state on a desolate road to take her life. Meanwhile, a car appears on that road. Then Lisa stands up, noticing that car. A man in car named Adam stops the car, witnessing Lisa. He asks Lisa, "Are you alright?" Lisa replies, listening this, "Yeah. I am alright." Then that man Adam asks her, "May I drop you in my car?" Lisa agrees for this. And she gets into his car immediately. Lisa tells Adam while sitting in car, "Actually, it is birthday of my daughter, so I am missing her too much. I want to meet her. In fact, my daughter is not alive. Now I am alone in this world. No one is here whom I call my own. So I had come on that road to end the life and the grief of my daughter." Afterwards, Lisa turns on the radio of Adam's car. A news was being broadcast on that radio at that time. Reporter tells that a killer is wandering in the forest. He has killed 2 men. And the killer has a specific sign as a carved tattoo on his right hand. Listening this, Adam turns off the radio of his car. A carved tattoo is seen on his right hand. Suddenly, Adam stops his car. The car stops with a jerk. Due to this, Lisa's head hits at the front of the car. Lisa loses her consciousness at the spot. Now it is confirmed here, in fact, that killer is not anyone else but Adam. And he is Adam who has killed both of that men in the forest. In the next scene, when Lisa comes into her senses. Then she finds herself imprisoned at a strange place. There was also a bracelet in Lisa's hand on which the light was switched on this. Lisa becomes so upset, finding herself here. She is so worried that she begins to shout for help. Lisa tries her best to take off that bracelet after breaking this. She does not get free from that bracelet because of the tightly worn. In spite of hard struggle, when this bracelet does not open, then Lisa sits at a place with exhaustion. Then a small path opens near her. As Lisa moves to that way to go outside, then back door is automatically closed. Then Lisa becomes more panicked. Lisa's attention moves to her bracelet. Where the time of minutes gets started there. After this, Lisa begins to proceed on that way. As Lisa reaches the middle of that way, then someone blocks that path. Lisa notices a narrow path there. Where Lisa moves to that narrow path with a great difficulty. After a great struggle, she is able to cross that path. Coming forward, Lisa comes on that way which is lighted. That path begins to rise as Lisa is moving forward. It means that path begins to narrow. If this way is closed, then Lisa may lose her life after being crushed in this. So Lisa moves ahead quickly and comes out of that way. Later, the timing of minutes is started on the bracelet worn in her wrist. Now Lisa starts to go ahead on that way where she had stepped. But she observes a lying person on that way while moving ahead. She comes to know, going near it, that he is not an alive person but a dead body, which is in distorted condition. This dead body had also the same bracelet in its hand, which was in Lisa's wrist. It indicates that person is same who had imprisoned Lisa here. He had also bound this man. Now this man's dead body is in so rotten condition that it begins to stink. Now Lisa had to move ahead. She makes the way clear after tearing apart that dead body to go ahead. As Lisa disposes that dead body at a place, then she begin to go forward on that way. In the meantime, Lisa checks her bracelet and she comes to know that the timing of minutes are left on her bracelet. So she starts moving speedily. Going ahead, Lisa senses this, that the timing on her bracelet is going to over. Toxic gas begins to release inside through small pipes because of the ending of the time. But a safe portal opens at a side of that place at the same time. Now Lisa hurriedly moves there to secure her life. That whole path catches fire as Lisa enters that safe place. But Lisa remains safe because of being in that safe place. That safe place makes a way for Lisa to go outside as the fire extinguishes. And that place disappears from there. Lisa is panicked, observing all. Due to this, she begins to cry. Lisa notices during this scenario that her bracelet timer has restarted. At this time, the time limit was of minutes. Lisa witnesses a watery place there while moving ahead there. Lisa starts drinking that water because of being thirsty. Lisa enters the water, taking a long breath, and reaches across the watery place. That place starts to fill with water as she enters there. Lisa also moves to herself from this water. Lisa starts hearing the voices of someone as she enters this place, who was shouting for help. Now Lisa begins to follow the direction of voice. When Lisa is moving ahead, then her place at the below side starts opening. There was much acid which was boiling. Lisa throws a piece of her cloth into that acid. And she notices this piece of cloth has burnt badly, touching acid. Now Lisa understands as it is most dangerous acid. Now Lisa begins to cross that path of acid while putting her hands on both sides. She moves ahead. As Lisa is crossing that acid path, then Lisa's knee is touched with that acid all of a sudden. As a result, her knee is burnt badly, leaving her wounded. In spite of this, Lisa does not lose courage and handles herself, and she goes ahead on the same way. Moving ahead, Lisa notices a man there. This man has also the same bracelet in his wrist. Lisa says to him here that, "Look and listen to me. We are both entrapped here, we can help each other, but that man was so weird." He does not lend his ear to Lisa and begins to act madly. Suddenly, it is seen that very short time has left in their bracelets. There is again created a safe place like before. Both start to go there instantly, seeing the secure place. Both reach near that safe place on a right time. But both start quarreling with each other to enter that safe place. That man is left outside of that safe place while Lisa enters there. That man's hand is dismembered because of being stuck in the door as it closes. Then Lisa notices a carved tattoo on the hand of same man, which was carved on Adam's hand. Lisa becomes sure here that man is no one else but Adam. That place also catches the fire all of a sudden and Adam also burns to die. Being so scared, Lisa loses her consciousness at the same place. Further, a robot comes to meet Lisa as she restores her senses. It was looking so awkward. Coming there, it begins to treat the burnt knee of Lisa. It means that Lisa's wound which she had received from acid. Later, that robot adjusted a device in Lisa and tells us what had actually happened with her at that day. After this, flashback is shown where a dispute was breaking out between Lisa and Adam in the car. Adam attacks Lisa on that day during that fight. Lisa immediately comes out of the car and looks at the sky, that a white bright light is descending on Earth. That white light was actually the alien spaceship which had come in the world. It means that aliens had abducted Lisa at that time. The story again moves to the present time. It is witnessed here that Lisa has come out of that safe place now. Lisa comes on a way outside and observes that a blade is moving in front of her. Lisa withdraws her steps to see that blade and comes on the upper part of that place to avoid it. A creature begins to follow her as Lisa comes on this way. This creature was looking so horrific and odd. Its whole body was burnt. This creature was so horrible that Lisa becomes afraid from this. She is confused, so she begins to move ahead, making a distance from it quickly. That creature begins to chase her, but Lisa escapes from it, crossing a narrow path. Because that creature does not get access at this place and it has to move away. After this, Lisa's bracelet time is again started. Lisa finds two paths while going ahead. She chooses the left path between them. She starts entering there. As she is going in the direction of this path, she hears the voice of her daughter. Lisa becomes excited, hearing this. She is unable to stop herself and starts following that voice. Lisa reaches a unique place, going ahead, where she starts seeing all memories of her life on the walls of that place. It included the memories from Lisa's childhood to the death of her daughter. She witnesses her daughter there who moves to a window to catch a ball. But she suddenly falls down while catching the ball. This incident takes the life of that girl. It was the cause that her daughter was died in reality. Lisa becomes so sad, witnessing such memories. She starts crying for this. Lisa was putting all blames on her of her daughter's death. Because she did not take care and help of her daughter. So she could not save her life. Then Lisa glimpses after turning back, that creature is chasing her. Now Lisa starts to go farther through that path. That creature also comes there and tries to capture Lisa. Lisa starts to move on that path NPW, but she notices the razor wires there. Lisa has to cross these razor wires to avoid that creature. The time had left shorter once again here for Lisa. A safe place opens theirs itself, moving there. Then Lisa glimpses a vast sky ahead. She is wounded badly because of crossing razor wires. She loses her consciousnesses at the same place because of the wounds bleeding. Her time is also over. Then fire catches at that place at the same time. Lisa remains safe from burning in that fire. Rather, the lower part of that place is opened. And Lisa hurriedly enters that place. Consequently, her life is secured. Lisa finds herself at that place as she opens her eyes, where she was bound at the beginning. The struggle that she had made till now to move ahead, all struggles were dashed into dust. She is saddened and lays down there with exhaustion. Meanwhile, the same robot comes here and begins to treat Lisa wounds. But Lisa forbids it to treat her and says, "Don't recover me. Let me be like this. Let me die." As that robot is going to inject Lisa with poison, Then Lisa hits upon a plan and she begins to create a way to escape through the wall. With her blood. Lisa had come to know this here. How can she escape from here? And she begins to go outside with the help of her created ways. Lisa was crossing all paths easily at this time. She knew the activity of each task. When Lisa reaches that path, where acid exists, then she begins to burn her bracelet in that acid. That bracelet is rotten, putting into it. In this way, that bracelet is taken off in such a way. Lisa finds some marks on her hand as bracelet removes from her wrist. Which were the map clues to escape from this place. Lisa discovers two ways while moving ahead. But Lisa moves to the right way at this time. Going further, Lisa again finds two paths. But she begins to notice the mark on her hand. She chooses left path according to hand mark. And she starts moving further. But the same creatures appears there through the lower part of that place. It again begins to chase Lisa. Somehow, Lisa diverts the attention of creature and comes on another path. Lisa comes to a separate place through this way. Coming here, Lisa meets another unique and strange alien. That creature had still not stopped to chase her and it also arrives here. Now Lisa again starts to go ahead, escaping from that creature. The time on bracelet is again over and a safe place is also open there again. Lisa immediately comes to that safe place. But that place does not catch fire as time is over. But that safe place is rather opened. Now that creature was in front of Lisa, so it assaults Lisa. The fight starts between them. In this fight, Lisa kills that creature after crushing its head under her foot. Lisa begins to go ahead later. She again finds two paths while stepping forward. Lisa again starts to observe the created marks on her hand. She selects the right side. Coming on this way, she encounters her daughter here. Lisa becomes sentimental, seeing her daughter. She begins weeping while embracing her daughter. Lisa's daughter asks her to accompany her. But Lisa knows here, her daughter is dead and it is a trick in disguise of her daughter. Her daughter disappears within a few seconds. So Lisa starts moving ahead on her way later. Lisa glimpses a vast sky before her. As she looks at this, she begins to take her steps towards it. Then three blades come on her way. They fall downward simultaneously. Lisa crosses two blades, noticing their time. Her foot comes under third blade as she tries to cross this. As a result, her half foot is sliced. Lisa feels a bitter pain due to this. In spite of this, she moves ahead while encouraging herself. It is revealed here that the sky which Lisa was witnessing, it was not a sky but a screen. Lisa loses her hope, seeing that screen. She begins to shed tears because all her made efforts were wasted. Lisa drowns into grief, so she wishes here that, would that I may die. But some entity takes Lisa out of that place. In the next scene, Lisa finds herself in a separate planet. She wakes up. It indicated that it is not our planet Earth. Rather, those aliens had carried Lisa to their planet, taking her from Earth. Lisa is seated near a waterfall here. Moreover, Lisa's cut foot is also recovered now completely. Lisa also encounters her daughter here, who says to her that, "Mother, you can also live with me here." In fact, her daughter was not died, rather, she had also been abducted by the aliens. This marks the end of the movie. Thank you. Thank you.